Hi everybody, welcome to the round of 32 showcase for the third Impact. I'm Alice and today I'm gonna be going over the round of 32 showcase with Manuel. Say hi.
Hello.
And
yeah. Hello. There's no say hi.
Hello. I didn't hear.
Anyone want to say anything before actually going into it?
Yeah, so the reason... Dude, we almost delayed this showcase because of Rice 5 specifically, but we're now here. Sorry for the stream was kind of a little late, but we're here now, so sorry for the 5-minute lateness.
5 minutes.
And yeah, 5 minutes. But yeah, I think we can start the showcase if no one else has anything to say.
I want to say that I love shrimp.
Oh, okay.
Me
Me
too,
too.
bro.
Me too. All right.
I guess let's start with rice one.
Yep.
It is. It is going to be our stream pick.
Oh yeah, a bit of lore on this map. If any of you played in Nikki's friendly tournament too, you might recognize this as a Jack pick for the grand finals. So this is going to be a remap. Kind of a remap. So
Except it is a totally different pattern. This is gonna be the
yeah.
I'm nothing like y'all.
But yeah, to start off, you get some of these stream patterns, and you get some bursts with some doubles as well. And you just start to see the bursts more often and the streams.
Yeah, so far it's nothing too intense. It's more of these kind of like dumpier speed sections that come in every now and then, so it's not gonna focus too much on like your raw speed at the current moment, but it's gonna focus more on just kind of transitioning in and out of these, like, I guess if you want to call them dumps.
It's more about like actually transitioning from like a full-on like a dump pattern to once again going to those like barely any patterns on the actual map, and just like more about consistency and switching relative speed.
Yeah, and this map is totally break. Sorry to cut you off, but I just want to say this is like totally breakless. Like the only break the beginning is technically a break, but like this point on, it's going to be just this for like the entire map.
Yeah, I don't
This
remember
is gonna
what
be-
beacon this is. I think it's like
This would be 1. Yeah, around that.
320 streams then.
Yeah, like 320 streams. So it may not be that much dense, but it's really dense, especially because this is going to be probably one of the stamina draining picks in this tournament.
Yeah, I would actually say comparing from the speed we had in round of 64, this one tests your stamina bit, actually quite more. I would say that like Tuk Tuk Bashi, the last one, was more about like burst control. This is very much like straight up just speed, going very fast, and like yeah, this will be the pick that will test your stamina here.
Yeah, like you said, it's just gonna be very continuous from basically like halfway through to like the ending. So you get like a little time to kind of get used to it. It could be either a good or bad thing depending on who you are.
Yeah, this is going to kind of. Oh wait, sorry. Go ahead.
I would say this would fit into this more like standard, I guess, type of speed map, which like some players could be potentially more comfortable on, because usually you see other speed maps pretty much do the same thing, not that many breaks, and so I think this one fits kind of more of the standard pattern for speed maps.
Yeah, and this is also going to be a little bit more of the finger control side, especially from last week where we said it would test your finger control a lot on that pick. So this one is going to kind of test your finger control a little bit more.
Yeah.
More on the dead side.
Yeah, but with that, we can move on to Rice 2 now.
And Rice 2 is going to be Rose 1.25. So this is not a custom map. I forgot who this was mapped by, but we'll check later. So yeah, to start off, wasting no time, absolutely no time, getting straight into the rolly jump stream patterns and a bit of trills, 2-hand trills. And then here you have the nasty anchors.
A little bit of a anchory jack transition. This map does not want to give up, I guess. That's what I would want to say. This map just goes and it doesn't stop. It like, kind of like Rice 1, except you actually have some pattern variation here. And now going into the full-on stamina part, I mean, this is just like complex jump stream.
Yeah, you start to see some of these anchors come in and out, some of these two-handed throws, some one-handed throws every now and then as well, but there is like that kind of sense of movement within this pick, so there is like a kind of feeling of like intuitiveness when kind of playing with this, which I think will also combine with just the fact that like this isn't like completely jump stream the whole way.
Yeah. And we do see more of these rolly jump stream patterns. Yeah, I wouldn't say this is the most dense part of the map, especially because we saw like the really hard anchors, especially with that jump shot right there. Yeah, I feel like that this map could not. I feel like it's not as dense as last time, but it's I think a lot shorter.
I would actually want to say that this will probably, because of the overall structure, be very much harder to hack than Stigma from the last Mappool. This is by far, I'd say, a quite more like complex map in the patterning, and even though it's a little less dense, it provides way more of a test in, for example, Jack 2 jump stream transitions, and there's a lot more trails in that map, so...
What BP
Yeah.
was this, by the way? Just so people are aware.
I think this is 225.
Okay.
I'm not sure. This has to be around like 225, but
Okay.
yeah.
Not
This
that big
is
of a
going
jump
to be Rice. Yeah. All right, we can move on to Rice 3, and Rice 3 is going to be Escape from the City by Midji on 1.25.
I love mid-jack
Um,
files.
Yes, Midji files. We all love Midji files. To start off, you have some of these mini jacks to start off, and you see the pop out bursts already. That kind of just sneaks up on you just a bit, especially with the long jacks, which is going to make the map a little denser, if I could say it like that.
I believe this is our dump pick,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
This is dumb.
pick. And it's really, I think this map nails not really being dump stream and more actual dump. It's a very like a kind of mini jack favorite in some ways. After the dump pattern, you'll see at least one mini jack in or after the pattern, and you can see those like overlaps with the little speed jacks, if you can call it that, after some of the speed bursts.
Yeah.
Some
And
people might be familiar
sorry.
with this. I believe this comes from an Eterna pack. I don't remember which one exactly, but this will give that kind of like Eterna-esque feel, which it does make sense given it's a Magi file. And Magi tends to try more of their stuff within Eterna, so it plays a little bit more into like that kind of like dump stream feeling rather than kind of like your traditional dump file that you might be used to.
Yeah. I mean, this kind of does look Eterna, like, if I could put it into those words. But yeah, as the map, sorry.
This map just mainly tests if you have ever played Eterna. That's what I would say. I mean, this legit just feels like if you have downloaded any dump Eterna pack, this is what you would get, and it really does make a kind of good example of what a dump should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I guess we can move on to Rice 4, which is going to be our abrasive tech. So yeah, it is going to be a raw understanding by Pizza69. Some of you may know this as, I don't know if this is a custom for MWC.
No, it's not. It's not. This is an FFR chart, which was ported for MWC on quarterfinals 1.15, as well as the cut version. But in TTI, it seems will be using 1.05. So a rate down, but this is a really long pick, and it's really just out there.
Yeah, I feel like this map is going to be mostly testing your consistency. If that makes sense. Consistency might be key for this map. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this pick seems to be like going in and out of the rolls, bursts, and everything. And I would say like you on this map, you're very bound to miss on at least one of those bursts. I mean, they're kind of repetitive. At the same time, repetitive makes chokes happen way more often. So. Yeah, this pick is gonna be definitely one that we may not see that many combo battles. I mean, not that many racial battles on instead more probably combo battles.
Yeah.
I would probably say like the thing with this file specifically, it's not. I don't think it's gonna like. I mean, maybe in like the sense that like we're in this pool, maybe this one might be a little bit on like the more kind of raw skill heavy side. But I would probably say this is leaning more towards that kind of just consistency nerve control, rather than like these like really abstract abrasive patternings that you might see within these picks. Because I mean, most of like the kind of tricky patterning is just going from these jump mini jacks, some of these mini jacks, and some of these bursts with their kind of off snaps as well. So it's not something that's like as hard technically speaking, but there's just more aspects to it that makes it a little bit on the trickier side, as well as the length as well.
Yeah, the length is,
okay. All right, go
in
ahead.
particular, in my opinion, the length does do a big number on the increasing the difficulty of this map, because you would think after like 2 minutes of these bursts it would just end, right? And it would be like this is pretty stamina draining, but it is 3 minutes and 12 seconds, which puts a really high amount of stamina drain on you, especially with those those bursty patterns.
Yeah, I feel like this map is in the middle of its physicality, but it can definitely trip you up, some of these patterns. Especially like the long jacks compiled with the bursts. Even the mini jacks. There's probably more mini jacks than there are long jacks in this map. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say before, but yeah. This map kind of like does test your physicality a lot, or just your consistency overall, because as No said, it's kind of a raw scale map to begin with. So
yeah. It's probably gonna be one of like the picks that like people will probably pick just for the accuracy component instead. I don't think this is gonna be like one of those picks that people go into to kind of trip the other player up, but rather more so kind of like show their accuracy and just win like the overall accuracy battle.
Yeah, but I do think, even though if it's not a pick that you would pick someone to choke on, people will choke on this. This is a map that you pick for accuracy and then you fail on the combo.
Yeah. But I think we can move on to the next one.
Race 5, right?
This is our boss pick. So, we have Prince Theme by Someone Somewhere.
I'm excited to see this. Someone Somewhere cooks up something interesting.
I think this is our first Someone Somewhere custom.
Let's go.
Please welcome Someone Somewhere, as they will be making their first map on the boss pick. So, yeah, to start off, we have some of these kind of like streamy patterns compiled with mini jacks.
It's like this like more basic pattern that you see within like more kind of like mixed picks, where it's like streams with just mini jacks in between like the layering. Nothing like too complex for now, but I assume that's gonna change very fast. Especially just given, literally right here, you see it switch up instantly.
Yeah, those kind of patterns just sneak up on you, and you wouldn't even expect it. So,
I mean, considering please watch out for that. I mean, considering the genre itself that this song is, it does constitute a lot of switches and overall rhythm, and then like the samples used, etc. So it's all represented very differently, and we can see a little bit of a jacky part here. And yeah, this map just constantly switches your overall patterns and rhythms.
Yeah, and we do get to these kind of jacky patterns. Lots of mini jacks here. And, these patterns are just so evil. Like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
especially for its like genre. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what to expect when it comes to like Daria Court and just tech charters in general. With Someone Somewhere being just a huge like example of that. Like, this is probably what I would say is like your ideal like abrasive pick in a sense. Although, given that it is within like the boss category, it still has like a lot of these like other patterning. But like you can see like it reminiscent of like this like abstract abrasive tech skill set.
Yeah. And there's just more jack patterns.
I do just want to say that compared to the pull before, this pick is an actual boss pick, and that people are gonna be actively scared to play this one. I feel like the difficulty has kind of ramped up, but at the same time, this is what the boss pick is for. This is for the physicality people, to test their accuracy, and for the strategic picks against people that are maybe more early game focused.
Yeah, and continuing on with the break section here. Well, can we even really call this a break section? I just saw like the first there, and yeah, we get these trills, two-handed trills. Yeah, and then you get right back into the groove with these kind of techie, streamy patterns. These are really complex, so you can really trip on these patterns. Even if you try to combo this, it's probably gonna still mess you up because these patterns are just really complex.
Yeah, it's just one of those picks where like you have to be good at this specific genre of chart if you want to actually pick it and win, or just know that your opponent is on the weaker side of this. Like this is probably what
this
you
is
expect like within like the later half of like the tournament.
Yeah, this is gonna be the pick that is actually meant to be scary for the players that are more focused into the early game. And yeah, I think that's it. We can move on to the next map.
Yeah, we are going to be moving on to our
Elens or is it hybrids?
I think it's hybrid.
Is it?
Okay, Ellen. Yeah, Ellen. Okay, all right.
Ellen 1 is going to be White Rose. Some people are
this is not a
familiar with this.
Yeah.
Some people are going to probably be familiar with this from GBC of last year.
I saw this map one day and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And we are using it now. So I actually tried mapping this on my own, but like I didn't finish it. So I'm happy this song is being used either way, but this is a really cool coordination pick, I would say.
Yeah, it's like that kind of entrance into like timing hell within like coordination picks. Like it's not like fully there, but it still has like some of like, I guess, pieces of timing hell.
Yeah.
Considering the last coordination pick, I think we're ramping up in the general like release factor. I think the last pick was a little bit more like Ellen Hybrid. It was kind of like more less towards the timing hell aspect as this is. I mean, in some places this basically looks like Ellen Wall.
Yeah. I mean, these releases are kind of evil. Like just seeing it, and I like remember that this map has so many BPM changes. I can't tell you how much BPM changes I saw on this map. It was really insane. So yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing that's gonna make this just a little bit more harder to hold accuracy on is just the fact that you have like a lot of these 1/4 elements, which at like the BPM it's at, I believe it's like 240. You have to like tap a little bit on the faster side, and depending on your Percy, it could either be easier or harder. But as well as like some of these kind of like pseudo bursts that come along as well.
Ooh,
I think if you're a Percy player, then you're definitely gonna have definitely playing this map. Like in the beginning, you will have quite a lot of trouble figuring out when do you actually have to release, because these are not like a tap LN. Like in Percy, it will probably show us that, or like be really close to it. But yeah, you will have to kind of figure this map out, and it is kind of a Percy blocker if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what Ellen 1 usually does.
Yeah, Ellen 1 is kind of like the thing where like it just blocks Percy players, so that you would have to use non-Percy for this pick specifically. But yeah, I think we can move on to our Ellen 2. This one might be a throwback. We have Ineffablis by Akatsumi-chan. I think I saw this somewhere. I don't remember, but yeah. So this is going to be your density pick, Ellen 2.
160 BPM. I think it's actually way higher than it was last time, right? The last
was like
week
was 180, but it was,
yeah.
But this is denser. Yeah.
It was like more broken, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
This is going to start off like very, very dense already. It goes into. Yeah, it goes into this. I don't even know what to say apart from good luck.
Yeah, these releases are evil. It might just be evil than LN1. I'm gonna be honest, because I think Density, from what I've seen from like the past two pools, I'm pretty sure like Density has the more harder releases than Coordination does, which is kind of impossible, especially in the tournament, because pretty sure Coordination is supposed to be harder than Density. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but
I think
that's just what I
picks
believe.
have been fine. Last week was a bit of like an outlier, just given the kind of like broken nature of it, as well as the kind of like Jackie nature in a sense. But this one's gonna kind of like go full fledged on like the density aspect a little bit towards qualifiers. The parity does look a little bit on the trickier side, especially with just the hold strain being a lot more present here, and it's definitely gonna take up some stamina.
Yeah.
Yeah, this pick for me is just straight up. It, in my opinion, the release some of the releases are evil, but it does test very well how you're good with the little bit like slower, but more like LN like release focus density, because this is gonna test your usual density skill, but it will add that aspect of some of the hard releases here, kind of a little bit more than the last map we got.
Yeah,
I think
it's
some
kind
of the
of,
factors to that just kind of goes with how this is 160 BPM, so the releases are going to be a little bit more on the awkward side, especially for a density pick.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that is going to lead us to Island 3, which is our release pick. Yeah. We have Empath. I'm pretty sure this is like the millionth time this has been used in the tournament. But here we are.
I don't think so, although people are definitely going to recognize this just from OMLN 4.
Yeah. That's kind of like the only tournament that I saw this being in, but I feel like this has been used way too many times. But yeah, so you have these kind of like evil releases. I feel like the whole Ellen pool kind of has like really evil releases that is going to be really hard to time, especially if you're on Percy.
I think the best way to
'Cause-
kind of look at this though is more in like that dump aspect. If I remember correctly, Imperial tried this with the idea of dump, and you can kind of see it within like some of the structuring and some of the kind of like flow within this pick, and that dumpish feel where like you're playing notes, but like there isn't always a sound present.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is true. The graces here especially, I just feel like this did execute the dump aspect very well. But another thing I wanted to say is that like these three maps from the LN bracket really show us that this map pool is gonna have a little bit of a bigger divide between Rice and LN players. Actually, having a designated LN player and a Rice player in a team will benefit the team a lot here.
Yeah. This is going to benefit some players if you really can play stuff like this. But this map is still really hard. It's like I forgot how long this map was, but I'm just gonna assume it's 3 minutes long. But this is still really hard. It could be stamina draining even. Yeah, but this is going to test your finger control just a little bit. That coordination aspect is also gonna have to come in when you play this map.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a lot of kind of different skill sets tested within this, just because of like the kind of, I guess, weirder nature of LN dumps in general, and just the fact that it's still a bit of like a newer thing when it comes to just LN in general within like a tourney setting. But you do get some breaks within this, so it's not all bad. But this is definitely going to be one of those picks that's just ban bait easily.
True. Although I feel like this whole pool has like very like distinct maps in a sort of way that like a person that isn't gonna be able to play one pattern is just gonna ban this if like for example they don't like speed. I feel like we executed there isn't much overlap. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. But that will conclude LN 3, and that will also conclude the LN pool.
Yep, we can move on to the hybrids now. So hybrid 1 is going to be your favorite sidekick. So yeah.
This is
If you played in TTT, you might recognize this map.
I think this has been used somewhere else as well, but this version specifically, the edited one, will be the TTT version, so it'll also be used here.
Yep. And already you start to see the bursts. They just kind of sneak up on you just instantly. And still with the evil releases, as always. I feel like this is going to not really. It's not really that physical, in my opinion. It's just really like trilly and bursty.
It is very middle column focus on the trills. We see it permanently just switching towards the troll or grace, and yeah, it probably does test finger control more than it does physicality for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to kind of put it up, within just the fact that like this pick specifically being used in TTT makes it so that it's not completely straightforward. There's still like the aspects where like this pick is also just straightforward, but some of the patterning within this makes it a little bit intrusive for a regular hybrid one, especially that pattern right there.
Yeah, those evil mini jacks, they just kind of appear out of nowhere. Especially with those like kind of bursty patterns and the graces as well. Adding on to that, this would feel like more of a tech hybrid in my opinion, but there's still some streamy aspects in this map.
No, I think the main thing for the reason why it isn't that techy is the middle column trills on the drop itself. I think it really does give a little bit of that overall hybrid aspect. I don't think it focuses that much on tech itself. Although, yeah, I could kind of see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be like one of those picks that people go for the accuracy in general. Just given that this is like on the easier side to hold accuracy on, just in general.
Yeah. I agree with that. This is kind of where you could have trouble acting this map. Because this map just looks like really hard just from this perspective alone. But yeah, I guess we can move on to hybrid 2. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, what were you saying?
It just kind of depends on your skill set, but yeah, let's move on to hybrid 2, our jack focused hybrid.
Yeah, this is going to be a custom map by Coder. Once again, thank you. This is going to be Cryolights Cadence. This is the LN3, right?
Hybrid 2.
Hybrid 2.
Oh wait, sorry. Okay. So yeah, this is our jack-based hybrid. So yeah, you can already kind of see the aspect of jack hybrids in this map already.
Yeah, so far a little bit of like a techie feeling as well. Maybe not as bad as like last week, but you can kind of see like some of these like graces here and there. Some controlling patterns as well.
You have to get into that point of like a jack hybrid having those kind of like jacky lens, but it still constitutes a like some release aspect here, and moving to it gets denser every basically single time the song does anything, and yeah, here we can actually kind of probably see more like stamina draining jack over here overall, and some of that release that could trip someone up if they're like in the kind of like jack finger position.
Yeah, it's like a lot of this kind of like back and forth between like the LN and Rice patterning, so you are going to need to know how to play like a little bit of both, while also being able to play both of them combined at the same time.
Yeah. And I feel like this isn't too much release focused. It's kind of just like very shieldy, in my opinion.
I think the shields do add an aspect of release though, just because like you do have to do like quite a bit at once, especially within like the sensor parts.
Well, I mean, yeah. But there is kind of still some releases, not too evil. I think people can get through this.
I think the releases actually kind of taper off towards the end, and we see a little bit more of the like physical jack aspect. We had seen some releases early, but it kind of does really just taper off into a straight up LN focus hybrid, a jack hybrid, and yeah, towards the end of the map, we just see like a kind of culmination of everything in the map that could probably make some people miss. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, and that is Hybrid 3. Um, I mean Hybrid 2.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we can now move on to the final boss of this pool.
Tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the round of 32 tiebreaker is Resolve Means to an End by Japanius. You get most of you might recognize this from 4DM, or if you were just browsing through some of the BM apps and found this song. But this was used as 4DM's tiebreaker in 2024 for the semifinals. So yeah, this is kind of just a really good tiebreaker, I would say. I really like this one.
Yeah, as it just gets started though, there's a little bit of kind of trickier patterning, so kind of alluding to maybe what to expect for round of 16. And especially as we're kind of getting through like these rounds slowly but surely, we're gonna just start to see a lot more trickier patterning as well.
Yeah, the start here is kind of formed just to make people drop early act. I feel like this kind of shows the difference between people that can act beginning very well and people that cannot really do that, since we've seen that in the round of 64 matches where there's some people that dropped beginning accuracy, and I think this map does this perfectly. Coming into the drop though, we see pretty hard overall like techie patterns.
Yeah, and kind of have these broken streams with the mini jacks, kind of going to see if you are consistent enough to act these kind of patterns. Yeah, and then this part is really just going to be really evil, but I think it's like a really dumpy, greasy like part, I would say.
It's kind of like that pseudo tech in a way.
Yeah, pseudo tech. That's the word. Yeah, and then you get to this kind of like Ellen density section. I don't really know. Yeah, I didn't really know what to call this, but kind of get into this Ellen section. It kind of has the aspect of density, but like it's not too much of a density pattern, I would say. It's more just mixed element.
I think it does a lot for the standard kind of like tiebreaker format. We see like we see the LN part test a lot of your not only like short releases. You see basically kind of density now transitioning into a little bit of a shorter part here overall. Some techie patterns.
Yeah, it's like a lot of transitioning like back and forth. Like you can kind of see it throughout. So that's something to definitely be aware of if you do manage to go into tiebreaker. Just be very careful of like all these like different transitions happening all at once. Thankfully, you do get a bit of a break here.
Yeah. There is going to be a break before the really dense drop. So that is upcoming. And if you guys watch the showcase, you might be you might know what happens like right before this. But yeah, this is going to be the pre-drop patterns, kind of like streamy Ellen.
I mean, the pre-drop does say it for itself, and it does kind of like make you wonder what's gonna be on the other side, and that's just gonna be density.
Oh.
Yup, there it is. SV. There you go. So watch out for that. But yeah, this is the dense drop that I was talking about. This is going to really test your finger control right here, and yeah.
Yeah, it's like this very dense section, and especially like having to transition back into like this rice as well as like the speedier rice.
This kind of also has this aspect of like making you switch what you're doing every like 5 seconds. It really doesn't let you stop and think. You just have to play. Like literally I can count like up to 10 seconds and the whole patterning will switch in this map. So this one is gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough to like keep your combo from here. as this whole part is going to get even denser, even denser. So don't think it ends just yet, as you still will be experiencing some of these Gracie patterns, some of these streaming patterns. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's probably gonna be like really stamina intensive, which I would probably say is like less of a common thing within tiebreakers. So definitely be a bit careful of that.
I think compared to the last one, for sure, this one tests way more of the stamina than the last one.
Yeah, that ending is evil, dude. Oh my god. But yeah, that was our tiebreaker.
And that was the
And
Mappool
yeah,
showcase.
yeah, that's the end of the Mapple showcase. So yeah, as always, um, schedules are out. They were out before showcase, like hours before. But yeah, schedules are
Uh,
out, and Mapple will be released soon. So
I just want to wish good luck to all the players and yeah, have fun with this one. I think this one is honestly a very good, well formed map pool.
yeah,
And this was me, Alice, along with Manuel and Snow, and we'll see you guys next time. We see you guys in a week.
Yeah, good luck and see ya.
all right. Good luck to everyone. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to say goodbye to everyone, but or some players. But yeah, that concludes it. So good luck to everyone, and don't get eliminated too fast. All right, goodbye.